A very good afternoon to all of you. Thank you for joining us today for the special media briefing on the occasion of the visit of the President of Maldives, President Soli, to give us a sense of the conversations that just taken place between the Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi and President Soli. I have the privilege here of having our High Commissioner to Maldives, Shri Manu Mahavar, as well as a Joint Secretary looking after the Indian Ocean region, Shri Karthik Pandey. So I would request Manu to start off with some opening remarks perhaps, and then we'll try to take a few questions. Thank you, Manu.
Thank you, Arinda. Good afternoon. What I'll do, I'll begin with some of the basic details, some of which might be already known to you through various statements, but I'll still go through it, and then we can open the floor for question and answer. So, President of Maldives, His Excellency Ibrahim Mohammad Soli, arrived yesterday on an official visit at the invitation of Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi. He's accompanied by key ministers and a business delegation. Yesterday, EM called on him, and today he had talks with Prime Minister in one-on-one, restricted and delegation level formats. And then this was followed by a media event where you saw inauguration and review of many flagship projects. We also had exchange of agreements and then press remarks by both leaders. Prime Minister hosted a lunch for President Soli. Later in the day, President Soli will meet our President, Srimati Draupadi Murmu, in the Rashtrapati Bhavan. He will be the first head of state or government to meet with Rashtrapati ji. This visit also has a very strong business focus, and therefore two business events are planned, one in Delhi later in the evening, and then one in Mumbai. President Soli will depart for Mumbai tomorrow morning, and there he will have some engagements, including a meeting with the Governor of Maharashtra, who will also host a lunch. And then there are some other business events planned. Now, just to give the context of the visit, there have been a series of very high-level contacts between our two countries. This is President Soli's third visit to India. He came to India in December 18, soon after his election, and then he visited again in April 2019 to Bengaluru to witness a cricket match at the invitation of India. Prime Minister visited in November 18 to attend the swearing-in ceremony of President Soli, and then again a state visit in June 19. The leaders have also had a virtual meeting. They have been in contact over telephone. So there is very close connect between the two leaders. And of course, we have also had a series of high-level exchanges. Most recently, Dr. Jaishankar, External Affairs Minister, visited Adu, where some very high-profile projects were inaugurated. The relationship has grown tremendously in the last 3.5-4 years in every area. And that is possible because of the close connect between our two leaders. It's a time-tested relationship, but it has really grown in the last 3.5 years. Cooperation during pandemic was really phenomenal. You have heard President Soli talk about it. It's really a model for the entire region. We extended every possible support to Government of Maldives in terms of medical supplies of essential commodities, vaccines, and even the air bubble that we created facilitated travel, and that really helped the Maldivian economy, which was, which relies heavily on tourism and which was under tremendous pressure. And on their part also, they extended full support for whatever assistance we required, for example, to bring back our own people. Development cooperation has really evolved as a central pillar. We are executing large projects, we are executing mid-level projects, and we are executing a large number of high-impact smaller projects which benefit the people in the islands away from Mali. So today, if I leave aside even the financial assistance part, the development cooperation portfolio itself is over $2 billion. Trade has grown tremendously. In last year, it grew by 31%. So despite COVID, business linkages have grown. And there are many reasons. We can go into details during the question and answer session that have enabled us to really enhance our economic engagement despite the challenges of the pandemic. Security and defense remain a very key area of cooperation, and we have been working very closely. As Prime Minister himself said, our relationship has not only benefited our two countries, but it has been a factor of stability, peace, and prosperity in the region itself. So, coming to the discussions that the two leaders had, of course, President Soli is extremely appreciative of the warm hospitality that has been accorded to him. The leaders reviewed the entire spectrum, and they focused on the next steps that can be taken to keep enhancing this partnership. President Soli re-emphasized in meeting and then in press also the India First policy of Maldives. And Prime Minister, on his part, reassured President Soli that Maldives occupies a very special place in India's neighborhood first policy. They, of course, reviewed our cooperation during COVID and how even after COVID we continue to work very closely to deal with the evolving challenges. For example, you would have seen reports about how we have been supplying essential commodities, sugar, wheat flour to Maldives despite our own restrictions. So we have remained supportive of Maldives and fulfilled these requirements in Maldives. The pouring of first concrete of Greater Malay Connectivity Project is a landmark event. This essentially marks the beginning of permanent construction of permanent structure. This project, which has been financed by 100 million grant and 400 million line of credit assistance, has the potential to transform Maldives' economy. You saw the progress in other projects. And while the leaders have mentioned it in their statements, let me still go through some of the outcomes, because these are very substantive outcomes of the visit. And they show how we continue to provide support and work closely with Maldives, towards the to support their efforts for their own development and growth. In this visit, we have announced another line of credit of 100 million to ensure that the projects are not disrupted; they are implemented expeditiously. We have committed providing financing for additional 2,000 social housing unit, which is really a very, very key priority for the government and people of Maldives. We have accorded approvals, completed the processes towards signing of contract for development of Hani Madhip Airport. The DPR for Goli Falu project has been finalized, and this is again a very big project. They plan to relocate Malé port to Goli Falu. That will decongest Malé and that will enhance the capacity of port significantly. The exports are continuing, and we have reconfirmed that it is possible for Maldives to export tuna and tuna products to India under SAFTA without imposition of any duty, and that will help enhance trade between our two countries. Many decisions were taken that will help Maldives augment the capacity of its forces. The MNDF and police, of course, the Police Academy project was inaugurated during Dr. Jaishankar's visit. Today, we saw signing of a contract for construction of 61 facilities in Maldives, police stations, residential units, and I think a detention center is also a part of it. We have committed to provide defense platforms. We have been providing defense platforms in the past, and we have committed to provide more and replace the aging one with a newer one. Utility vehicles will also be provided to Maldivian Defence Force. And then the leaders had a discussion on regional and international issues. We have been working very closely on regional and international issues in various fora. You would have seen how Maldives successfully hosted the meeting of Colombo Security Conclave, where our NSA participated. And in that meeting, we decided to expand the membership of Colombo Security Conclave. Mauritius joined as a member, and then a new pillar of humanitarian assistance and disaster relief was added. So all in all, very substantive outcomes have been achieved in this visit, and of course we will be issuing a joint statement and an outcome document which will give you more details. So let me conclude by saying that the visit of President Soli and its outcomes are a strong reaffirmation of our neighborhood first policy and the key position that we accord to Maldives in it. It reflects our shared commitment to development and democracy and to a partnership that delivers, which was a tagline for one of the projects also. And we are confident that the visit will take forward our multifaceted cooperation in all these areas and further consolidate our partnership. So I would stop here.
Thanks. You have more to add? Okay.
Excuse.
Okay. Thank you very much, Manu, for that overview and the sense of what the conversation was. We'll take a few questions. Please introduce yourself and the organization that you come from. I already see hands. Okay. Please start off. No. Okay. Yeshi, we'll start with you.
This is Yeshi Seli from the New Indian Express. You just mentioned that there was 31% increase of trade. I'd like to know from what period to what period, and between India and Maldives. And secondly, Modi has announced $100 million LOC. In addition to that, what is the total financial support that we've given to Maldives up till now?
Just 1 second. We'll take
No, yeah, I'm just noting down.
And Narima from the print.
1 second. Yeah, you got that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ranima.
So just wanted to understand, as an extremely close and friendly neighbor of Maldives, was there any discussion on the infighting that is going on within the ruling party there, and also the kind of slogans that are going on with the opposition on anti-India slogans? I'm sure these are very serious concerns that might have come up in the discussions today.
There are two separate issues, right?
I mean,
Yeah, I presume.
not really.
No?
But anyway,
Okay. Okay, that's your interpretation, Siddhant.
Siddhant from Beyond. My question is on the yoga-related violence. Was there any discussion over a sentiment that's emerging against yoga, including the fact that Adalat Party, which is the coalition members, coming out with a research document suggesting the president should make sure that this is not practiced in Maldives?
Okay. I think I saw your hand first, please.
After this, let's tackle.
You want to take three together and then another one?
Yeah, I think let's
Okay,
do.
that's fair enough.
First on trade, I think the figure is 31%, if I remember correctly. 31% increase last year vis-a-vis the previous year. So 2021 saw a 31% increase in our trade vis-a-vis 2020. And there are many reasons why this has happened. Of course, the COVID situation eased a little bit. We have implemented visa-free travel between our two countries. There is a direct shipping service that is operational. And we are implementing several projects in which Indian content is also required. So all these factors have contributed to, and then air connectivity has increased tremendously. So these factors have contributed to growth in bilateral trade. And
Can you quantify the trade?
trade is still, I would say, I think last year it was about $330 million. That was the quantum. And this year, I don't have the exact numbers with me, but my understanding is that it is again witnessing a further growth. So the trend is very positive in terms of our trade.
And so if I may add to that, today's
today's announcement on the export of tuna from Maldives will add towards their exports also. So that was one of their requests, which again has been agreed. So.
In terms of total financial support, you would recall when President Soli came to India in 2018, there was a package of $1.4 billion. It was $800 million of line of credit, $200 million of budgetary support, and $400 million of currency swap. After that, we have extended more assistance in terms of grant projects, in terms of more lines of credit. We have given special line of credit for defense. We have given special line of credit for sports. We have implemented a large number of high-impact community development projects, and we have now announced today an additional line of credit. Besides that, we also finance project through Exim India's Buyer's Credit Scheme. So the housing projects are being executed under that scheme, and the police infrastructure project that was signed today will also be executed under that scheme. Yes, and I forgot all about the biggest project, the Greater Male Connectivity Project, which is $500 million, $400 million of line of credit, and $100 million of grant. So if we put all this together, then the figure would reach somewhere around $2.8 billion. But what I was trying to do was to remove the financial assistance part. That would be, roughly in the range of $600 to $800 million currency swap, budgetary support. That's inclusive of this. Yes, that's inclusive. So all in all, we remain committed to continue working closely with Maldives and extend full support. And you heard Prime Minister himself saying that. In terms of the question about, infighting slogans, I said, all the visit and the discussions focused on bilateral, regional and international issues. President Soli has reaffirmed India first policy of Maldives, and Prime Minister has reaffirmed that Maldives occupies a very special place in our neighborhood first policy. President Soli has also assured, and you heard him also during his press remarks, that there is a strong desire in Maldives to strengthen relationship with India. The people of Maldives appreciate this partnership. They recognize how India has always stood by Maldives in their hours of need. And there is a genuine desire to further strengthen our relationship. These campaigns which are being run, they are based on misinformation, false propaganda, and they do not reflect the views of the people of Maldives. And I would say on yoga specifically, look, yoga is as an event that is celebrated, International Day of Yoga is celebrated all over the world. In Maldives also, International Day of Yoga has been celebrated every year since 2015, and Maldives had co-sponsored the resolution that recognized this day. And this incident happened. It was an event jointly organized by High Commission with Government of Maldives and UN Maldives, and the government and political parties, many political parties have condemned what happened, and the government of Maldives has taken action, and they have committed at the highest level that those responsible will be brought before the law. So let me stop.
Thanks. Yeah, Akhilesh? Okay, you're ready. Go ahead.
Sir, I'm Akhilesh Suman from Samsat TV. You know that Sri Lanka has gone through a very difficult time. And do you think, and did you talk about any fallout impact on Maldives that Sri Lanka has faced? And what was your, appreciation of the economic situation of Maldives?
Okay. Yeah, just one second, please.
My question is on equality.
Please introduce yourself, Fanta.
I'm Purim Tabas, formerly with DD News, with the National Broadcaster, and now I run a think tank, Center for Media and Strategic Studies. And this is, ecology is one area of concern, which we deeply study. So my question is on equality, and I just want to understand, was that a subject of concern between the two leaders? If yes, my particular interest would be water, fresh drinking water, the displacement of refugees, and is there any ongoing project of cooperation between the two countries?
Okay. Who else had before that? No, you first, yeah? Go ahead. One more will take them.
Yes.
And then I'll come back.
So this is again in extension to what Akhilesh has already
Yeah,
asked.
introduce yourself.
Mama Sudhiti from NDTV. Sir, in the context of Sri Lanka and Maldives, was there any reference to the debt traps that are created, and part of which was also responsible for what's happening in Sri Lanka?
Is the last question or the more question? Okay, we'll take another round then. Please come back to you.
Okay, so On the question of economic situation in Maldives, well, it's really not for me to pronounce on that. Government of Maldives has issued many statements on this, and I would urge you to refer to those statements. As far as we are concerned, we have been working very closely with Maldives to deal with, not only healthcare but economic challenges. First of COVID, and then now evolving situation. So we have worked very closely with Maldives, and will continue to work very closely with Maldives. And you heard Prime Minister say this, that India has been a first responder in Maldives, and India will remain a first responder in Maldives. So I would leave it at that. I would not go into further details. On ecology, I am glad you have raised this, because this is really one of the focus areas of our cooperation, and we are doing a lot in this field. It did figure in discussions, for Maldives and for India. Climate change and its impact is a major priority, and we have been working very closely together. Maldives is a part of International Solar Alliance. It is a part of the Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure, and we are seeing how we can enhance our cooperation in the area of renewable energy. Specifically on water and sanitation, you would have seen the leaders actually reviewed the progress in the implementation of drinking water and sewerage project on 34 islands, which we are supporting, and that is the largest climate adaptation program that is being undertaken in Maldives, and that's happening with the support from India. So this is definitely a priority area, and we are working very closely with them, and we are also do some of the smaller projects of this nature under our grant, high impact community development project. So there also we have, in fact, all these programs are tailored to the requirement of people of Maldives, and they are implemented in close consultation and sometimes directly through the local bodies. And that's another area, we are trying to strengthen our cooperation. Today we have signed an MOU which will allow us to work with Maldives, organize training program, capacity building measures for the local government representatives, and they require support in many areas. So this will remain a priority area of our cooperation.
Thanks.
Tourism and economy.
Refugees.
What happens? 80%.
No, sorry. We'll come back to that. And I think, as you mentioned, there is a lot of work going on climate change. I don't know if this is the right opportunity to discuss what is the implications of climate change on Maldives. I'm not sure we are the right person, but if you have an additional question, I'll come back to that. Yeah, Madhurendra.
सर मधुरेंद्र, मैं न्यूज़ नेशन से। मेरा सवाल डिफेंस सेक्टर को लेकर है कि दोनों देशों के बीच डिफेंस सेक्टर में क्या बातचीत हुई, मालदीव को आने वाले दिनों में और क्या हम आर्म या एम्युनिशन या फिर वेपन्स देने वाले हैं।
Okay, I saw one more hand somewhere. Yeah, same question now. Yeah.
Sir, so this is Abhishek Jha from CNN News 18. My question is regarding that naval boat that India has committed to Maldives. So is it in addition to the earlier provided boat? And could you please give us some specification about this boat? Like, is it some transport boat or surveillance boat, or like what kind of boat is this?
Surveillance boat.
I mean, I just wanted to know what is this boat.
Sorry. Yeah, last question there.
So Sandhya from ET, the ex-Maldivian president, Mr. Nasheed, talked about that 70% of Maldives' current debt is owned by China. Was China on the table for discussions? Thanks.
Okay. On defense, I think in a way two questions are interlinked. रक्षा के क्षेत्र में हमारा बहुत आपसी सहयोग है, और हमारे सहयोग का मुख्य उद्देश्य है कि जो हमारे क्षेत्र में चुनौतियां हैं, सुरक्षा संबंधी चुनौतियां हैं, उसका हम किस तरह से मिलकर मुकाबला करें। जो चुनौतियां हमारे क्षेत्र में हैं वो अकेले नहीं लड़ी जा सकती, उसका मुकाबला अकेले नहीं किया जा सकता। इसके लिए आवश्यक है कि क्षेत्र के सभी लोग, सभी देश मिलकर इसका मुकाबला करें। तो यह एक हमारा प्रमुख उद्देश्य है। इसके अलावा हम रक्षा के क्षेत्र में, सुरक्षा के क्षेत्र में यह प्रयास करते हैं कि मालदीव्स की क्षमता, उनकी सैन्य फोर्सों की क्षमता, MNDF पुलिस की क्षमता बढ़ सके, जिससे वो अपने क्षेत्र में सुरक्षा कायम कर सके। तो वही हमारा मुख्य उद्देश्य है। हमारे जितने भी चीज़ें हम कर रहे हैं, चाहे वो हम प्लेटफॉर्म देते हैं, चाहे हम उनको ट्रेनिंग देते हैं, चाहे हम उनका इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डेवलप करते हैं, या हम उनकी ट्रेनिंग फैसिलिटीज़ बनाते हैं, मुख्य उद्देश्य यही है कि हम मालदीव्स के जो खुद के प्रयास हैं अपनी सुरक्षा क्षमता बढ़ाने के, उसको सहारा दे सकें, उसकी मदद कर सकें। जहाँ तक आई थिंक एज फार एज दिस क्वेश्चन अबाउट debt, Chinese debt, I have already addressed. It's really not for me to comment on the state of Maldivian economy. There have been statements, detailed statements issued by government of Maldives. The leaders did discuss bilateral, regional and international issues, and they did discuss security challenges in the region. They did discuss how to enhance security in the region, including maritime security, how to counter transnational threats through collaboration. So these topics did figure in the discussion. The additional port, I think, you see, we have supplied 3 boats to Maldives in the past, and I would urge Karthik to correct me if I go factually wrong. We can give you specific details even after the briefing. This particular boat, which we seek to replace, was supplied in 2006. It is nearing its lifespan, so the idea is to replace this boat with a boat that will have a longer life, that will have better capabilities, and in addition, we have decided to provide another LCA, landing craft assault, which again will help them, enhance their own capability to ensure security in their region, in their waters. So this is an ongoing process. We will continue to work together with them to support their efforts to enhance their own ability to ensure security in the region. Landing craft assault, right? That is what it is called. It's a small boat which allows you to move quickly. And
I think we'll close it unless you have something new topic. Yeah. Okay. Yes, Sudhi.
Sir, Sudhiranjan from Bloomberg. Anything you could tell us on the cooperation, defense cooperation, in particular the radar chains that we are trying to build and the cooperation with the Navy, sir?
One question, like Devirupa or something. You didn't raise your hand earlier, Devirupa, but last couple of minutes.
I just want to ask another additional question on the defense cooperation. India and Maldives have signed the agreement for development and maintenance of the Coast Guard harbour at Uthuru, Tira, Palu. I just want to know what's the implementation status of the agreement.
Okay, I think we'll close it with that.
Yes, I think these are the... So as far as this radar chain you mentioned, it basically relates to our cooperation in the area of maritime domain awareness. And this radars were set up and they were formally, in fact, the first phase was handed over at the leader level when Prime Minister visited Maldives. And then we have since set up more radars there. And the whole system is now complete, and it was formally handed over during the visit of External Affairs Minister to Adu in March 2022. And we also have signed, an agreement on exchange of white shipping information, and that is also happening. So we have close cooperation in the area of maritime domain awareness. On UTF, as you are aware, this project essentially envisages development of a harbour for the Maldivian Coast Guard. Its agreement was signed. Now the project is under implementation. As and when we have something new to share with you, I'm sure we will share with you.
Thanks. Thank you, Manu, for taking so many questions on this. Thanks also to Karthik Wande, Joint Secretary IOR, for joining us and for sharing his perspectives. Thank you all for joining us for this special media briefing. Good day. Namaskar.